Hi, I'm Mark Jones, and I'm the State Director for Collegiate Ministry for BSM, and I'm here with my friend, Joe Luna, and Joe is the BSM Director at Texas A&M Kingsville. And Joe, you have come to Abide a number of times before, brought groups of students. This week, I don't know if you brought well over 55 students?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Just get them in the vans and get them there. But what is it about Abide, a prayer retreat, that it seems like your students were anxious to be here?
Absolutely.
What is it that you have seen as a benefit to them? What makes a student give up a weekend to come and pray?
Well, I think there's just, believe it or not, I mean, there's just such an incredible desire to connect with God on our campus, and just like most college campuses, they're busy all the time. And so having the opportunity to get away and do something very creative that speaks to engaging Christ in a whole bunch of different ways, that's something that's very appealing to them. It's very appealing to be able to slow down their busy schedule, to get away and to experience different ways of connecting with God. Prayer for missions, prayer for their campus, prayer for other campuses, to be able to get away from the busyness and out into nature is something that they love. And then, of course, what college student doesn't like to take a road trip with all of their friends? And so our BSM is great about sharing the story of Abide. One of the things that the semester does not start off in the spring without somebody being like, oh, when's Abide, when's Abide, when's Abide? They just love it. They just keep wanting to come back. Part of that is because of the culture of Abide, and then the students bringing that back and just sharing stories and sharing the unique things that God has done, the call to mission. I think every year, some of our students get called into mission work. They just have an opportunity to bond, grow closer together, pray for one another. And then, one of the things that's come from that is that our students every semester plan a mini Abide on our campus. And so they just are already introducing students to the uniqueness of Abide, and then even in the fall, starting to talk about it. And so people just, our students really love Abide. It's just a very unique experience for them.
How wonderful, Joe. That is just great that there's a sense of excitement, and students that have been, so of your big group that you brought this year, a good number of those are here for the second or their third time coming to Abide.
We have one girl that's here for her sixth time. And so, yeah.
She's done a couple bonus laps.
She has, yes.
Yeah. Well, that is just a wonderful story, and how it sounds like the carryover of that, the excitement about prayer. There, outside of the worship experiences, you have these prayer stations that students are invited to be a part of, but there's a whole lot of freedom given to students during this time. Do you feel like the students make the most of their time? A lot of them I know don't get a whole lot of sleep over this weekend.
Oh, absolutely. When we were driving up here, I was already listening to students, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to stay up the whole night." And these are the ones that I always do, and stuff like that. And talking about several of the staple ones, like the one that they do the art, and really connecting with God through art. And I think there's the worship breakout or the worship area where they can just cry out to God in song. And then praying for the nations is one that they really love. And so they were just, the campfire, all of it, they're just like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to spend, most of my time. The cool thing is, they're sharing that with the freshmen, because we have quite a few returning, but we have quite a few that have never come before. And so they're really excited to get the whole Abide experience just because of what the upperclassmen have been telling them. And so that's been really cool.
That's very good. Has there been a benefit also with as big a group as you have to interact, engage students from other campuses? Is that part of the experience when they're here with hundreds of others from all over the state? what's that been like for your students?
Well, it's really cool because they get to see. It's sort of like holding up a mirror, like it says in James. Obviously, Scripture is a mirror for us. I think our brothers and sisters from other campuses are also a mirror for us, and so it's encouraging to see where they're similar. And then a lot of the time they come back and they think, man, like I want to have the passion of so and so that I met from this campus, or listen, some of the things that they're doing here or there. These are things that we could do on our campus too. And I think it just never occurred to them, And so I think there's definitely a sense of the bigger picture, the broader picture, but absolutely they get a feel for what's going on all around the state, and then a lot of those things they want to implement back on our campus too. So yeah, I mean, definitely, one of the goals that I heard from several of our students was, I want to meet at least 3 different people from 3 different campuses and pick their brain about this, and this, whatever that might be. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they already come with the anticipation of connecting with God and then also connecting with others.
Well, it sounds like your students come here with a real open heart and a spirit that really wants to. They really want to learn, of course, want to draw closer to the Lord, but also want to learn from each other.
Yeah.
How exciting is that?
One of the coolest things like that God has blessed in our ministry is the desire for our students to be the best ministers that they can be. And so, that comes through obviously first and foremost reading God's word, prayer, but then also learning from other people, different resources and stuff like that. And so they just really have a hunger and a thirst to figure it out, and to figure out, hey, what is the best thing that we can do to leverage our influence on the campus, for the advance of the gospel. And they're just soaking it up. And especially this semester, God has just been really blessing in those ways. So
how exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen God work, I know, Joe, over the fall semester, and here we are in the spring. Is there a real sense of anticipation for you? I mean, you'll be back on your campus Saturday. This is a relatively short prayer retreat, right. And we're weeks away from spring break, and for a lot of students, do you feel like you're going to see God move in some ways? I know you've seen God move on your campus through the fall semester. What do you anticipate? What are you hoping for?
Man, every week I feel like I hear our students are growing a deeper affection for prayer, a deeper affection for sharing the gospel. We've already had, we're 3 weeks into the semester, we've had 2 students commit their lives to Christ that were very difficult soil last semester. They're just praying like never before for the unreached people on our campus, and they're just pouring themselves out to that. And so what I anticipate that God's going to continue that work because they're just getting revved up more and more and more. One of the things that I think is really unique and really cool about that is a lot of times that happens after Beach Reach for us. The students come back and they're like, oh man, Beach Reach was an awesome experience and stuff like that. But from day one of the fall semester, it has been that way. And they've been praying and they've been reaching and they've been making disciples. And then, just students that are not leaders, are just starting to make disciples. And God is just really taking this to a whole new level. And I think most of that, honestly, obviously this is grace, but then also the fact that our students have been diligent in prayer. And one of the things that we say a lot, there's this old book that I have, actually I don't really know if it's old, but it's been sitting on my shelf for a while. It's called Too Busy Not to Pray. And we tell our students that all the time. You are too busy not to take time out and commit your day to God because you're too busy to let it fail on your own shoulders. God has got to take it. God has got to prioritize your time. God has got to take things out and put things in that are going to be worthwhile. We've been going through Ephesians in our campus the past couple of weeks, and so it's been really cool to see that here. But one of the things we just talked about is in Ephesians 5, where it says, make the best use of your time, because the days are evil, and teaching them how to do that, how to surrender their day to Christ, how to surrender their schedule. And so that's one of the things that we're really looking forward to here is learning to discern the voice of God through prayer and learning how to pray even more effectively than what they already are doing. And so that's something
Prayer
that
is definitely a discipline of the
Right.
Christian life, and it does call for us to, instead of being an afterthought
Right.
of all that we're doing, seeking to serve God, to make that. And it sounds like, Joe, you've made and your students have made prayer a real priority.
Absolutely.
And it's been at the core of all that you're about. Well, Joe, thanks for sharing about your students' experience, and thanks for your commitment. The way you lead and you push down and you allow the students to be the ones to pray and to lead and to share. So excited and just anticipate all that the Lord will continue to do through the BSM at A&M Kingsville.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Joe.